What's up gamers, Coach Brandon here, and today I will be teaching you some easy ways to constantly win the laning phase and building an effective lead to take into the later stages of the game. Laning phase is arguably the hardest thing to learn in the game, but is also one of the most important parts of the game. Winning the laning phase normally means that you have a strong lead over your opponent that you can use to carry your games consistently. To warm up, it is always good to go into the practice tool or a custom lobby and practice laning against bots or a friend. Practicing with a friend is by far the better option, but people are not always available or willing to 1v1. You want to use this warm up to practice learning your champions, ability cooldowns, and how much mana they cost. These are two very important things to learn, as using key abilities effectively is the easy road to victory during the laning phase. Once you understand the mana cost and cooldowns of your abilities on a given champion, it is time to go into a game and really pay attention to your enemy's ability usage. What I mean by this is you should understand that your enemy also has abilities that have their own cooldowns and mana costs, and the more you know about the champion you are going up against, the easier the laning phase is for you. The big term used for the laning phase is called trading. Trading is giving something up in return for something else. For example, you may use your abilities to damage the enemy champion, but in return, you also take some return damage from the enemy champion. Every champ normally has 1 to 2 cooldowns that they spam to help hit the wave, and one big cooldown that they save for either engaging an all-in fight with you, or to set up a gank from their jungler. Identifying, understanding, and punishing mistakes when it comes to these abilities is the big key to winning your laning phase. The biggest mistake most players make in laning phase is using their cooldowns without really thinking about the cost of using them. For example, you're playing against an Ahri. Her major trading cooldown is her Q, while the major cooldown you are looking for is her charm or her E. If you ever see an Ahri use her E and miss it, it is a good time to fight her because her major CC ability will not be available to use. Once you feel like you have an understanding of trading in laning phase, the next big thing to focus on is warding. Warding is super important during the laning phase because nothing feels worse than things going your way until the enemy jungler shows up to ruin your party. The easiest way to counter this is to make sure you are warding. Dropping wards in the river when possible is the most effective way to avoid getting ganked by the enemy jungler. Making sure you are constantly warding around you during laning phase is super important because dying not only gives gold to your enemies, but it also stops you from earning more gold. You can't get kills or farm minions if you're dead. So do yourself a favor and make sure you are constantly warding and checking your minimap to look out for potential ganks. It will save your life, which will also help you win the laning phase more often. To practice this, you want to go into a game and every time you see your ward off of cooldown, make sure to drop it from a place the jungler can come from. Normally placing them in the bushes in the river right outside of the lane you are in is a good place to ward. Now that you know the basics, it's time to put it into practice. The next time you load into a game, make sure you analyze the champion you are laning into. Identify what their major cooldown is and always keep a lookout to take advantage of them using that cooldown for nothing. You also want to make sure you are dropping wards every time you get the chance, especially if you are winning your matchup. Again, I'm Coach Brandon, and always remember to stay hungry and stay humble, and I'll see you all soon.